ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast, a weekly podcast all about board games and video games, and sometimes a little bit about TV shows, movies, golf, snacks, lots of other little miscellaneous things, but mostly about board games and video games. My name is David, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. Devin, how you doing?
Doing fan-freaking-tastic. Just took off my glasses to reduce glare.
They were driving you.
But no, doing good. Life's been busy, but busy in a good way.
Yeah.
We got to go on a little... our family, ever since we were 5 years old, has been very good with reunions and keeping together. So we're very blessed to be able to do that. We got to go up to Idaho and basically hang out with 30-something people.
Yeah.
For 4 days.
Yeah. Party destination of the world, Idaho.
Oh, so much going on. I saw a bush once.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's one gas station there.
There was one.
Which was also super cool. No, we had a lot of fun. We golfed 18 holes day one.
We did.
Which was insane. It was like 5 hours of golfing.
It was amazing. I wish the golf course had been a little nicer. You know, in the middle of Idaho, surrounded by a potato field. Twas not a very nice golf course.
But no, I had to hit we had to do that one hit out of like a dried up swamp.
We did, yeah. Yeah, that was a rough hit. No, luckily you got us out of there.
I sure did. I clutched up.
You know, you really did. You played, I think, the best golf you've played. Don't you think?
I did something with my backswing and it fixed everything.
Everything.
Yeah, wow. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm glad you did, because I feel like my day started pretty good and just, I don't know, went down a plateau and then stayed pretty subpar.
As you can tell, we got a lot of sun.
We did.
I look like I'm related to lobsters.
We also adjusted the lights right before, so we're looking a little different because of that too. But we also did get some sun.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see my legs, I have a million mosquito bites. And, I went golfing one more day than you did on the trip, and that other course, quite a bit nicer of a course, but it's right next to a reservoir and another little small lake. So mosquitoes out there like crazy. I didn't have bug spray. Just been scratching the crap out of them. I'm gonna scar or something. I think I am just ripping the flesh off of my bones. So itchy. But yeah, it was a fun family reunion. They're always an interesting time. We have kind of a interesting situation where I was telling my friend about this, and he was like, "This sounds a little bit like incest," but our mom and her sister married our dad and his brother. So 2 sisters married 2 brothers, right? So our cousins on that side, I usually call them our double cousins, because we have the same sets of grandparents on both sides. I think it's very uncommon, but because of that, we've been very close with them, I think, our whole lives. And their whole family basically stayed in the same what would you call it? Airbnb, Verbo, rental house with us. So, yeah, lots of people in there. It was a cool place. I bet it was maybe closer to 40 or 50. I don't know.
We had a basketball court, pickleball, putting green. We were throwing baseballs. We had way too much food.
Lots of food.
Had to take a lot of food back. They always prepare with the food, but that's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
What else did we do? Watch shows.
Yeah.
Play basketball. You set up the chip game with the poker chips.
We did have the first annual Bailey Memorial Open for 2025, where everyone got 19 poker chips, and we would use them to bet on things all weekend. Bet you can't make that putt. Bet the Timberwolves win this basketball game, or things like that. And whoever was able to get the most chips would win. We had prizes for the top 5. I thought that went pretty well, actually.
Yeah, I think it helped people, gave incentive to interact more than you normally would.
Yeah. Next year, the one change we're going to make, this is an idea from Mom, so blame her for it. We're going to have, instead of just incentives or prizes for first place, second, third, fourth, fifth, we're also going to have a penalty for the lowest few. Because the situation we saw with a few people ended up not caring. There's 27 of us, so if they don't care, that's fine. But if you don't care, hey, I got 19 chips. I'll give them to you.
Yeah, that did happen.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's fine. It's our first attempt at it. But if they were nervous of being in last place, Mom's idea was they have to eat a bug.
Yeah, I don't want to get last.
It might not be severe enough.
I just make them walk home.
I think we should tank their credit score and put them in prison.
Oh, absolutely. Heat up their pillowcase.
There you go. Yeah. Just put a ticking clock somewhere in the insulation in their walls.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah. So, anyways, we might do that next year if we do it again. We'll see. It's a little bit stressful to plan, but luckily next time, I have all the chips. I have like the STL file to print the trophy. Just need to think of some prizes and maybe a penalty or two, and that should be all right. But yeah, that was fun. It was good. Memorial Day weekend is always a good time. It's good to see Grandma and Grandpa who are still alive and kicking. They live in a very small town, but they're funny people. They're good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. Other than that, I don't know that I have much new from last week. I got a few new board games and a few new video games. Kind of a crazy 1-2 punch.
Wow.
It was just my birthday, so I got like a little birthday cash and gift cards and stuff. So I was like, ooh, buy myself a game or two. Ooh, buy myself a game or two. I said the same thing twice about 2 different kinds of games,
Amazing.
So that was fun. If we jump into Super Movie Brothers, I think I've only watched 2 things. We just finished recording our spoiler cast video about episode 7, the season finale for season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us. Really liked that. It was a strong end to the season, I think. I thought it was a great season. I wouldn't say it was. I think the first season is a little bit better. And I think the third season, just based off of Abby's character and where the story goes, I think will be a little better than season 2. But it also won't have like the shock value of season 2, episode 2 with Joel. So where he bakes a birthday cake for the first time. It's pretty intense.
No one knew that he could make that good of a cake.
Yeah. Carrot cake? I mean, you kidding?
No, you're not kidding.
Carrot cake's my favorite kind of cake, so I'm like...
Bull.
It is. I love carrot cake.
What are you, a horse?
A horse. Lacey makes a mean carrot cake, and so does Neaters. Next time you're at Neaters, try that carrot cake, man. It'll knock your socks off. It's so good. I mean, the carrot in the carrot cake I like is cut like very small. Like you're not like, it's not crunchy.
It's a banana bread this weekend. Holy,
yeah,
that's frosting on it. Wow.
Yeah, or zucchini bread. Like those breads, they slap.
What are we throwing vegetables in the cake for over and over?
I do like banana bread more than zucchini bread, so I'm on board with the banana that you said. So
cucumber bread.
Yeah, tomato bread.
Ew.
Anyways, watch The Last of Us. It was good. Devin, I think you liked it as well.
I did, yeah. Fully immersed, fully good. Full support from me.
Sweet. The wait for season 3 will be a bit of a bummer, but at least we know, like with HBO, it's going to be high quality. Like they're going to try their best.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like you watch some shows on other platforms, sometimes you're just like, ugh. Oh, I think I could have made a better show. Not really, but anyways. I haven't watched much else this week. Watched some sports games. My wife and I did just finish season 3 of The Chosen, the show about the life of Jesus and his apostles. Excellent TV show, especially if you're Christian, And season 3 ends very, very strong. So, just more props to that show. It's great. But other than that, I don't think I've watched much. Devin, any movies that you snuck in, or with the vacation we might not have any?
Oh man, I think there were some, but I'm not going to remember them. There's one by Ridley Scott. Is that a name?
It is. He directed Gladiator and
All the Money in the World. Is that a movie?
Could be.
I think I watched that.
You think you watched it?
Yeah, I think I was working out and I watched that, but I don't remember it, so there's nothing to talk about there.
Okay.
Any TV shows? No, I don't think I really... I tried to go to the theater yesterday because it's cheap on Tuesdays.
It is.
And man, oh man, between Lilo and Stitch coming out and Mission Impossible, I've never seen it so stacked with people. Usually it's like 60% full. This was like in the upper bowl where most people want to sit, 99% of seats are gone.
Yeah.
I was like, holy. So that didn't happen for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we also looked to take our kids to Lilo and Stitch on Monday, but just so booked because it was the long weekend.
I like that people are going to movies.
Me too.
That makes me happy. I really enjoy movie theaters, so.
I agree. I hope that they don't go away. Even though it is nice, you know, when a movie is like 3 weeks old and you're like, oh, it's on Prime?
Oh, it's the greatest.
That's a good feeling. I am going to Mission Impossible on Saturday. We've got those tickets locked in.
Wow.
It's my wedding anniversary. So we're doing a staycation because we're broke AF.
You're gonna sleep at the theater?
Sleeping at the theater. We're just gonna kind of bounce from theater to theater to make sure they don't catch us sleeping.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
I like that plan.
Yeah, super fun. But no, we will have been married for 12 years.
Really? Holy. Crazy. Good
Crazy.
for you.
You blink and you're old, but
you do.
Anyway, so we'll talk about Mission Impossible next week, and at least I will have seen it, and I'm guessing Devin will probably see it pretty quick. Those are good.
I do plan to. It's just I almost need to go like before noon.
Yeah.
On a day or something, and then, yeah, because it's cheaper that way, and then since I saved money, I can also get the XL popcorn, which has the refill, and
and then take it home with you.
Finish that. Oh, there's nothing better. Nothing better than day old movie theater popcorn. It's just cold and it's just like
so good.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. Gets me going.
I am not a morning person, but I do like doing fun things early. Like you want to go like do 9 holes of golf at 6 o'clock? Totally down. I would go see a movie like 7, 8 o'clock. Like super down. They probably don't open until 9 or 10, but
I'm currently like self-employed. And it's very difficult sometimes for me to go, you know, we're going to be super consistent every day. My body's just like, no, we're not. We're going to be comfortable every day.
Like being comfy.
But when there are other people involved, like, for example, golfing, or sometimes we go up to Idaho and they're like, let's go shoot archery at 6 a.m. I'm like, I want to hang out with my cousins. My body pops me right out of bed. I'm ambitious. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm probably annoyingly happy. I'm not a morning person as far as being able to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I'll wake up and then it's like, oh, an hour and a half on the phone, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very pleasant in the morning. Like, I would say I'm a very happy camper.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't wake up grumpy usually, so I agree. Cool, Devin. Well, if there's not any other movies in Super Movie Brothers here, we will just hop right into the show, I think. Just punch this one along, since it will be... Is this going to be our last episode before you have a Switch 2? Switch 2 should be here on the 5th. What is next Wednesday? Might be the 4th. 1, 2... I think the 1st is on Sunday, right? 2nd, 3rd, yeah, 4th. So we will get it on Thursday. So I guess next week we'll record and you'll get it the next day. So second to last episode before the Switch 2. That'll be kind of a fun episode as well. Getting your thoughts after playing that baby till the wee hours of the night. Playing Mario Kart with
I'm excited to see Nintendo finally step up to the plate and meet 2021's tech specs.
Yeah, 2021 sounds about right. Yeah, it will be good.
It should be much more advanced and perform much better than the first, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But will there be enough games to play fast enough?
I think there's going to be a lot of games. I'm just afraid I will have already played a lot of them.
Because so many of them are remasters?
Yeah, that or like there's a rumor going around right now that Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to the Switch 2, which will be, and it will come to the Switch 2 with like a 60 frames version that will also come to PlayStation. I'm like, man, I played that game 6 years ago.
They must have statistics somewhere saying there's a good portion of people who have one console.
Yeah, or like they were kids when they got the first Switch, and now they're a little older, and they would totally be down to play like. And yeah, they don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because it feels like I have access to like every game.
Yeah.
Because I have the PC, the PlayStation, and the Nintendo now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you basically do.
It must be worth it to throw it on these other platforms.
Yep, I agree. So, crazy times here at the end of May 2025. Well, that's going to bring us to the opening rigmarole, actually, not anything really exciting. So, yeah, I guess we always start with Patreon shoutout, don't we? Make sure to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/SuperGameBrothers. That's where you can get our episodes 3 days early. You can also get exclusive episodes like our conversations about The Last of Us that we just talked about. I'm trying to pull it up here on the screen a little behind on you. Where are you, button? Screen, here we go. There we go. Anyways, so check out our Patreon. Already mentioned it, patreon.com/SuperGameBrothers. Also, we have a giveaway going on on our website, supergamebrothers.com. Make sure to join that. We're about a month and a half, 2 months maybe from that ending. Website doesn't want to load right now. Love it. Maybe my internet's being slow. Anyways, supergamebrothers.com. We have a cool giveaway, a board game bundle, or a gaming gift card. Make sure to join that, totally free. Now we can get into the show. And that brings us to new games to subscription services. And we always start with Board Game Arena, an awesome website where you can play board games online, mostly for free. There's some games you can't start a table playing unless you are a premium member, but you can join a table if someone invites you or something like that. And they have a few new games a week, like 1,000 total. This one is called Mesos, and it's supposed to be pretty great. Just got an awesome review from a YouTuber I really look up to. And I don't even know much about it other than I think it has a cool picture. Well, you're trying to earn victory points, if you believe that. And place your totem on the offer track to claim strategic cards in turn order. Sounds like card drafting, but check out that one. I think it just came out this year, and it's supposed to be pretty good. It looks like it's from Cranio Creations, and they're a pretty well-respected and liked publisher. And then they have one called Super, (Be Super, period. And it says, over a decade after the fall of the legendary superhero agency, the Guardians, a new generation rises to claim the spotlight. The goal? Amass 50 million followers and become the world's most celebrated superhero agency. Should have called it Mr. Beast, because I think he would have won. That was
probably
that was a dumb joke.
No, it was honestly amazing. I was gonna say like social media sim.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then a couple more games. Arboretum. That's a really great, like, a pretty mean card game where you're trying to put flower cards in like a pattern to make like a route. Like the blue trees have to be in a route, and then you get to score the highest number, I think, of that tree color that you have. But if someone else has the highest number, then you don't get to score any of your. So it's pretty mean in that way. And then the other one is called Tulip and
it's just cut off for some
Tulip and Rose, which I haven't heard of, but a couple other cool ones. And then we talked about Welcome to the Moon last week, an excellent game that you should try. So they're always adding new ones there. Make sure to check those out. For PlayStation, for the month of June, on PlayStation Plus Essential, this month they're giving us 4 games instead of the usual 3, because it's their days of play kind of period. They always do it like May, June, where they'll have a sale on their hardware, a sale on games on the PlayStation Store, and they're also giving away some bonus games here. So these are actually kind of exciting. There are 4 games in the Essentials tier. The 4 are NBA 2K25, with the NBA Finals about to start. I imagine that'll be a pretty big one. Alone in the Dark, which is like a remake of Alone in the Dark from a long time ago. It has Jodie Comer and what's his name? Hopper. That's not his name.
Oh, what is his name?
It's gonna drive me nuts. He's in the new Marvel movie, Thunderbolts. David Harbour. There we go.
Great job.
Those are both free, along with Destiny 2 The Final Shape. So the newest kind of content pack for Destiny 2. It's supposed to be excellent if you still like Destiny. And then one called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, I think is what it's called. And it's supposed to be kind of like a Jet Set Radio, where like you're like grinding stuff, doing graffiti, like very artsy. But those are 4 pretty big games in my opinion. That's not all, Devin.
No way.
For Days of Play, they've got a couple extra bonuses for you. If you have extra or premium, they have a few more games that they're calling, what are they calling them? In addition to our regular game catalog content drops. So these ones are just bonuses. And the first one is the one I'm most excited about. It's called Another Crab's Treasure. And it's a Souls-like where you play as a little crab and you fight bigger sea life under the sea. I've almost bought this game many times, and now I won't have to. It'll be fun to just try it. Included in the game catalog, Skull and Bones, and Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, and Grand Theft Auto 3. What's that called? The Definitive Edition are all on there as well. And those are available. Another Crab's Treasure is available tomorrow, May 29th. And then Skull and Bones on June 2nd. Destiny 2 on June 4th, and Grand Theft Auto 3 on June 10th. And then, if you have premium, there's also 2 classics, Myst and Riven, the sequel to Myst. These are like puzzly games where you're like on a big island trying to figure out what's going on, kind of like The Witness, but older. So I'm excited for trying those and Another Crab's Treasure quite a bit. And I'll maybe try the basketball. I don't really like basketball video games, to be honest. But big games, in my opinion. So check those out if you have PlayStation Plus Essential, Extra, and/or Premium. And then Xbox hasn't announced their June stuff yet. The Epic Game Store is still doing their like 2 hidden games. The 3 they gave away this last week were actually really good. One of them was a brand new game called like Deliver at All Costs that I have been wanting to play, and it was like a day 1 release. So make sure to check the Epic Game Store out. I just don't know what the games are, so I can't really tell you. But that brings us to what we've been playing.
I haven't been playing too much.
Me neither, but I got a curveball. This
Crazy.
game just launched on PlayStation. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. I love Ninja Turtles, and my kids really like Ninja Turtles, so there's a little bit of a crossover there where I'm like, okay, cool, I can play a video game that I want to play, probably a little longer than I should because I'm playing it with my kids. This game basically is Hades. Drop the quality down just a little bit, but add co-op. And you can play up to 4 players co-op, local and online. So I've been playing it with both my kids. We're not very far yet, but we beat the first couple bosses. And like just like Hades, like you have fun little story things and characters will talk to you, like your hub spot will change a little bit. The bosses will change a little bit, like the second and third times you fight them. So I'm hoping that it will continue to keep up the variety, because so far it's been pretty fun. You can play as all 4 Ninja Turtles, and then excuse me, I think they were doing like a discount the first week the game came out too, so I got it a little bit cheaper than the $30 it costs. I think like 23 maybe. And for the first week they were giving away the Casey Jones DLC for free, so I got that too, so we can play as Casey Jones or one of the turtles, and it's pretty fun. To be honest, I think you would probably enjoy it. Again, Hades is better in almost every way, but just the like adding of co-op kind of raises this game a little bit for me. It's just fun, and I like Ninja Turtles, so good stuff all around there. So that was kind of a curveball that I just played with my kids Monday and Tuesday of this last week, and then we were out of town. So I think that's all the video games that I got to play.
I only have one that I played for just a few hours called Sandland.
Oh, you played Sandland.
I played Sandland from the makers of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
This game is a dialogue simulator.
A lot of dialogue.
Oh my goodness. I mean, there were times where I said, I'm going to spam through this dialogue as fast as I could, and it was 50 different sentences between the characters. Just never ended. Combat was funny. It was fun to like build a tank. You can just kind of free roam and like ramp up your tank. And
I love the way it looks, especially like the tank gameplay and stuff. When you're not in the tank, what's the combat like?
You're pretty fast. You can ride dinosaurs. It's just hand to hand.
I was not expecting that sentence. You're pretty fast. You can ride dinosaurs.
I didn't get too far, but there were some fun like sneaking stealth areas.
Okay.
It honestly probably is a decent game, but what I gathered in a few hours was that it's
maybe not for you.
Relatively average.
Yeah. Oh, there's the dinos.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing a lot more tank riding than I thought. But I don't know. You can like spawn your tank at any time. I was trying to collect parts to build a jumping machine that I could like ride in, and I accidentally bought an engine for a tank instead of for the jumping character. And so I could not find enough vegetable oil to create the jumper tank, so I was stuck for like an hour right there, and it was so obnoxious. But I mean, just from watching this little preview here, it looks like maybe it gets kind of fun. The story gets intense. You go to different areas, that type of thing. But I was stuck in the desert.
Yeah, sometimes these games that are kind of like JRPG adjacent can be very long, and so there can be like segments that are 8 hours or something that you're like, excuse me, didn't love that segment or whatever. So yeah, it probably has some peaks and valleys, I would imagine, but it's one I've wanted to try. I actually downloaded it. It's on my PlayStation. I haven't started it yet though. Cool. All right, I think that's it for video games. As far as board games are concerned, most of these, in fact, I think all of them we played at our family reunion over the weekend.
And you had no idea Ito was going to be such a hit when you bought it, did you?
No, I did not. 'Tis a big hit, though.
It is.
Very funny. The only thing I think it needs 5 times as many prompt cards.
They need to be more, like a little bit more creative with the prompts.
Yeah. Like I found like some sites online where people have generated like more, and so you can find more prompts online. But anyways, first off, we did play Spectral. This is a deduction game that I just got that I've been wanting to try, and Devin clobbered us pretty handedly. Basically, in this game, you're putting out, what would you call them, like poltergeists, investigator dudes, in these hallways between 2 rooms, and then you can look at the backside of one of the room cards next to that hallway, and it will tell you where a treasure or a curse is located in this kind of 4x4 grid haunted house. And so you're trying to pinpoint where all of these are, and then at the end, all the cards will be flipped over, all of the treasures and curses will be revealed. The curses will remove any adjacent investigators from the board, and then anyone that is next to a room that has a treasure on it will get to split the treasure based on how many hallways you control surrounding that room. So it's pretty simple, actually. Trying to like teaching it is a little bit trickier than I thought it might be. And I think like the first 5 to 10 minutes of deduction where you're like trying to figure out, okay, this room is telling me that 2 rooms clockwise has a treasure, and this room's telling me that if I reflect across the middle line, that room has a curse, and you're like writing all these things down in your logbook. It's a little bit much, maybe for the first couple minutes, but I do feel like it kind of starts to click um, halfway through your first play. I really liked it. I wonder. It did seem the first play seemed like almost a little aimless isn't the right word, but you're just kind of like randomly putting dudes out for a minute till you're starting to like get a feel for where things are. You might like watch somebody else put like one of their 2 valued pieces down. You're like, oh, maybe I'll just kick him out with my 4 or something. And so you maybe could bluff a little bit, but you probably don't want to, because if you're next to a curse, you just lose them all. So I'm not sure. I'm interested to see how it continues to develop after a few more plays. We played the basic beginner game. It also comes with a few advanced modules that will like freeze rooms, so that like if a room says there's a curse 2 clockwise, instead of it being 2 clockwise, it just gets the curse itself. Some of them will let you swap rooms. So I wonder if the advanced variants would be like too much, or if it would add a wrinkle that's kind of fun. And then I also bought the mini expansion that wherever the treasures are pinpointed from those like extra rooms you add in are worth 36 points instead of 12. So they're like ultra big treasures. But I think you have to like cross-reference, like, okay, this card is telling me it's in this column, and then a different card over here will tell me it's in this row, and it's where they meet. So it seems like there's a bit of depth. I don't know that my wife loved it on first play, but she didn't love Arapa Mine on first play either, so I don't know if deduction maybe is like a genre she loves. I really like it, like trying to piece, it's like a puzzle, and I like that. So I'm not sure. Liked it on first play. What'd you think of Spectral, Devin?
I was very confused at first.
Yeah.
The game has a top and bottom.
It does.
Once cards start getting revealed and you're writing in your notebook, there's basically row A, B, C, D. They're not in that order, and I had to basically turn my entire graph that I have been putting clues on.
Oh, you had been writing it twisted.
Yeah, I was all confused. Like 5 turns in, I was like, oh no. It's like I messed up my entire play, but I think I got it all corrected. And I was drawing things in my notebook that I didn't know if I needed to draw or what was important to draw, and crossing out specific things. But ultimately, I felt like I thoroughly explored like the entire play area except for 2 spots. So I knew where everything was.
Yeah.
And got a little lucky with RNG in the end. It's basically like I'm going to randomly start searching these squares, and then you're almost searching for the curses.
Yeah, because there's only fastest. 4 of those.
Yeah. If you can figure out where the curses are, then you can just stay away from those and start planting your characters.
That's right.
But got a little bit lucky, but also
strategically
figured it out after 10 to 20 minutes of confusion.
Yeah.
And then, dominated the field. So I'd say that's a W.
It is. That is what a W is. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. Other than that, we played Flip 7, which is I think one of the Spiel des Jahres nominees this year, and I don't know if it'll win, but it's gotten so many plays this last year. I think it might, just on sheer like popularity. I gave it a 7 initially, but I'd probably bump that up a bit. It's just fun. It's just kind of like, imagine 21, except instead of aiming for a certain like cumulative value, you're trying to just not flip over the same card, or else you bust. And that push your luck is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So played that, and then we played quite a few rounds of Edo, and then I think we left the next afternoon, and you guys I think played it again later the next night.
Yeah, a lot of people played it that night. I ended up passing out, but
you did.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this one is such a hit. You can see I've got 20 logged plays of that one, and usually it's like 5 rounds in a session. We'll do one, we can get the next one. And to be honest, most of the time you lose.
Oh, yes.
It's just hard to get them all in a row. I was interested by what this Edo Rainbow was, but I don't know. But even if you don't get them right, just everybody's like laughing the whole time, and you're giving weird clues and talking about them. It's very open-ended. It's just kind of more like a conversation activity than anything. But the reveal at the end of trying to have the cards in order is fun. So agreed. Mm-hmm. Edo's a great one. I think I'll keep that one basically forever. I do, just like we already mentioned, I need to print off like 100 more prompt cards, because I do think that's where it can start to feel like, oh, we've seen that one. Oh, we've seen that one. Oh, we've done that one. But lots of good board games this week. All right, I think that's what we're excited about next, right? Let's jump down to the table. No, let's do that first. That's fine. I got a few board games this week, like I mentioned, and this one is one I'm really excited about. It's a mess here on the table. I just did an unboxing for it and haven't put it away yet. But it is called Inferno. I think we talked about it on the show a few months ago. It's a Euro game where you are trying to, I think the theme is Dante's Inferno, and you're leading souls through the 7 layers of hell kind of idea. But it's a Euro game at heart, so you're doing that and trying to maximize points and do it efficiently, which is my kind of game. So cool theme mixed with math makes David happy. I hope that it's one that I can get played often. It's, a little complex compared to some of the games in my collection, especially having just talked about Edo and Flip 7. I think this one's probably like a 3.5 on the complexity scale. There's a bit, but when I was unboxing it, I was surprised there's not actually too many pieces. It looks like a bit here on the table, but anyways, I'm excited for Inferno. That is one of them. And I think the other ones I mentioned last week, but I did just get Mosaic and Messina 1347 and Glasgow, and I want to play Spectral again. Oh, and then Devin, will you hand me that red box over there on top of the other stack? This is another deduction game because I'm just obsessed, and I think this one looks really cool. This one's called Kronologic Paris 1920, and they're making like a series, and this was first in the series. It's from the same designers as the Turing Machine, and in this game you're trying to solve a case, what's the dude's name? Sherlock Holmes. And the way that you do that is there are these cards. I'll try to just show maybe the first card so I'm not spoiling anything major. And each card is for a different room of the play area. And this play area in this version is like an old theater. And so I might want to know what was going on in the dance hall. But I can ask, kind of like Clue, but you don't have to move around a board, a bunch of different things. I could ask what was going on at 5 o'clock, or the 5th hour in the dance hall, or the 3rd hour. So there's 1 to 6 as far as hours are concerned. And then there are 6, I think, different characters. And I could ask, where was the servant? Or did the servant go in the dance hall? The way that this game gives you stuff is you can see these little cards have cutouts, these tokens, and the cutouts are in different spots. And so to look, you flip the card over and you slide this character sheet or the hour sheet over top, and it will tell me information. So I can see in the 6th hour, this character starts with the letter J was in the ballroom, and he was the only one in there, I think, because there was only one person in the room. And so you're putting those pieces together. And when you look on your turn, you tell every other player one of the pieces of information. I think this one that's green. So I would tell everyone there's one person in the ballroom at the 6th hour. But I would have a bonus piece of information. I would know that one person was Jay.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually.
And so then someone else would look in like the 5th hour later. And since the cutouts are different, they would be getting different information. And then you're keeping track of that kind of like in Spectral on a big sheet. Like, okay, this person was here at the 5th hour, the 6th hour. They were in the room with this person. It's supposed to be excellent. So just continuing my obsession with deduction right now. I am excited to play that one too. So anyways, that's probably it for what I'm excited about board game wise at the moment. We did just talk about Sony's Days of Play sale on the PlayStation Store. Well, actually, we're about to. Sorry, we didn't talk about that yet. We just talked about the games they're giving away on PlayStation Plus. But I bought a bunch of games today on the PlayStation Store, and I'm excited to play them as well. So if I go back to the screen, I guess I didn't put links in there for them, so I'm just going to go back to our faces for a minute. But the games I got, just finished The Last of Us on HBO, and so my wife is like, I can't wait 2 years. Should we just play this game? And I was like, done. We'll play that tomorrow. And if you already have The Last of Us Part 2, you can get the fancy PlayStation 5 version for a $10 upgrade. And it comes with that cool new roguelike mode. It's kind of like a combat-focused mode that just gets like harder and harder, I think, and you're like trying to survive as long as you can. It's supposed to be pretty good. So I wanted to try that mode, and I was like, yeah, I'll play the fancy PlayStation 5 version this time. So got that. Probably play that in the next few days. And then I got 4 other games, none of which I have started, so nothing really to say about them at this point. But Thank Goodness You're Here is supposed to be a very hilarious and kind of crude game. I think it's rated M. But it has like a very cartoony British kind of vibe, and it's supposed to have very fun humor. I got a puzzle game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. That's, again, supposed to be excellent. Reviewed very well a few months ago. I got Stranger's Wrath, one of my favorite Oddworld games. I already have it on my Vita, but now I have it on the PlayStation 4. I've wanted to play the Oddworld games again, so that'll be fun. And I got a Alan Wake 2 and the deluxe version, so it has all of the DLC packs as well. So excited to play those, along with another Crab's Treasure that we just talked about from earlier. The big game this coming week, Devin, I think actually comes out tomorrow. That's a Elden Ring Nightreign. Getting some mixed reviews. I don't know if you know. Saw this.
I haven't seen that yet. No.
I think it has like a 78 on Open Critic.
FromSoft doesn't do 78s.
The couple reviews that I read said, this game is very fun and excellent if you know what you're getting into going in and you play with a full squad of your friends. They said if you go in thinking it's going to be more Elden Ring and you solo queue with strangers, you're not going to have a great time.
Interesting.
So I think because of those two scenarios, like some people have been polarized to like, I hate this thing and giving it lower scores, and some people are like, hey, this is way fun. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on whether to get it right at launch or what.
I imagine it's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, I would think so.
Solo queuing is always hard.
It really is. Yeah. It seems like a cool system. Like I was reading one review today, and there's actually no armor. They you can just have up to 6 weapons equipped, and so sometimes you'll take a weapon because it has a cool perk, even though you know I'm never going to use this. So like the perks and like those kinds of things come from the extra weapons you pick up. And I think you do 2 days that are like 15-ish minutes each of like fighting stuff. And then you like it turns into night, where you'll have a few like night mini bosses. And then the second day of night, you fight the Night Lord or something. And then if you can revive your teammates, I think, in the first 2 days. But if you die in the night periods, then I don't think you can revive or something. So it is kind of roguelike in that way, and I like that game structure, so I imagine I would like it, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much that one takes off or doesn't. But I'm guessing it'll be big just based on how big Elden Ring was. Anyways, I've done a lot of talking. Whew. Anything
you did a great job.
Thanks. You're excited about playing in the near future, Doug?
I might dabble in Alan Wake 2 now that we own it.
It's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, I played a 3-hour tutorial of it, and
oh, you did?
It seemed like it's hard to judge a game in such a small time.
Yeah.
I assume it gets super, super good. I loved the first one. Very eerie. Yeah. Kind of reminded me of a suspenseful / horror type odd film. And so I would really like to beat Alan Wake 2. I feel like it's my type of game. Just ramp up the difficulty and see what we see. But other than that, I might try Nightreign. It's just money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that one's $40 if I remember correctly. But...
yeah, I would almost prefer to just buy the Dark Souls remaster for that.
Yeah, it's like a known quantity, and you know it's single player. You'll know you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it will have an end. It'd be hard to stream something like Nightreign too, because like if you don't already have 2 people you're ready to play with, then you'd have to solo queue.
And then like, it'd just be a chaotic day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be fun, but
yeah, it could be. It'd just be like probably fun and comical stream, but probably less like perfect scenario for you enjoying the game. But anyways, that's gonna bring us to the news mini nuke, and we're gonna start with video games today. And we kind of mentioned Sony's Days of Play sale, but we're gonna finish it out here. So from May 28th to June 11th, they have a bunch of sales. I mentioned a few games that I got. They have a big sale on the PlayStation Store. They also have sales on other things, and it's probably a good time right now for them to have a sale on their hardware, because the price on Xbox just went up like substantially. Switch 2 just comes out like next week, and it's expensive. And so they have 3 different bundles. Kind of funny that they're bundled with a Microsoft game, but Call of Duty bundles for the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 5 Slim, or sorry, they're both Slims. Digital, excuse me, that doesn't have a disc drive are $450 or $400, and the PlayStation 5 Pro is $50 off from $700 to $650. Still expensive, but made all the more valuable just by how much the price of an Xbox has gone up. So those are cool. If you upgrade from PlayStation Plus, from not having it or to a higher tier, then you can save up to 33% on PlayStation Plus. Still lame that they don't let you like extend if you're one of their loyal customers. Very dumb. Sales on some of their popular games. And then I thought this one was kind of cool. So the collector's edition of Marvel Spider-Man 2 comes with this really cool and giant statue of Venom fighting both Spider-Man. It was kind of funny. I think the PlayStation, or maybe it was the Insomniac Twitter account, tweeted, here's all 19 inches of Venom, like when they like release a statue, which was a kind of a funny joke, but that's a big statue.
Is it just 19 inches from his feet to his hand, or from the bottom to the top of the Spider-Man?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Either way, it is big.
Yeah, I think it's from the bottom to the top of the Spider-Man, but
okay.
That's $100 off. So you can get it instead of for $230 for $130. I imagine they just had some extras of those. So that's a pretty crazy sale.
That would be a cool figure to have. What a great game.
Yeah, very good. I feel like that game kind of like came out. Everyone was like, oh, that was really cool. I love Venom. And then like moved on really fast just because it wasn't like new and shocking anymore like the first Spider-Man in 2018 was, where we were like, wow, they made an excellent Spider-Man game. So I think it was kind of hurt by its own like predecessor, kind of. But anyways, I thought it was good. They're not called Dual Shocks. DualSense controllers are $20 off, and they have a bajillion colors. I do like some of the new colors they have. This like indigo blue one. It's kind of like chromatic. I like that one. I'm all about green, baby. Don't like the Fortnite one.
Where's the yellow one? Get it together.
Yeah. Yeah, Devin wants yellow. What about the all white?
It's kind of cool. It's almost silver.
Yeah, it kind of was. Those are on sale. The fancy one is $30 off, the DualSense Edge. Those are cool.
What do those run you?
They're $200.
Oh my gosh.
So it's still $170.
I do love back triggers on a controller, but that's
and
a little crazy.
The cool thing that this one has is you can buy a thumbstick module if like your thumbstick ever wore down or broke. But I think they're still like $20 to replace. So it's not cheap. The Access controller is $20 off. PlayStation VR 2 is on sale, about the same price I think that I got it for. The Pulse headsets are on sale. Hard drives, internal and external, are on sale as well as their weird shapes of play toys. So, and the console covers. If I was going to get one of these, I think I would just get black though. Some of them are,
ugh.
Yeah, some of them are bad. Pink,
disgusting.
Purple. But I do like just the black. The gray's pretty nice. But I just feel like because the middle line can't be changed from black, like black just doesn't go well with some of these colors.
Who is picking these colors? I'd like to talk to that person. So you chose the ugliest shade of every one of those colors.
Yeah, they're pretty rough. I feel like there was more. Maybe that's it. But basically, all their stuff's on sale until through June 11th. So if you were going to buy a PlayStation, this is probably one of the best times because they're slightly discounted. And just in their last earnings call, they talked about pretty soon they might want to start raising their prices because of tariffs and stuff. So they're down a little bit and are probably going to go up a little bit even beyond where they normally are. So
I may end up getting a controller. It's been how many years since it came out?
4.5.
And I'm starting to experience some stick drift. So
are you?
It's driving me crazy. Yes.
I can maybe fix it if you want me to tear it apart.
I probably do.
Cool. All right. This next one is just kind of a article that Bloomberg wrote about Apple. Supposedly in the next few weeks, around the time the Switch 2 launches, they're going to launch a dedicated gaming app on iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV set-top boxes, as they want to get bigger in the gaming space and make 30% on video game sales as well as App Store sales, which I would love to make 30% of something I didn't make too.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. I feel like they haven't done very well in gaming. Apple Arcade has had some cool games. Like I really like Grindstone, and Balatro being on there is like a big get for me. But really the only games that I play on my phone are like quick ones. Like I play one called Threes. That's just like a slide puzzle kind of game. You're trying to get the highest score you can. I know you play Clash Royale, but that's also like quick. You're playing 2-3 minute matches.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's just maybe like the Mac and Apple TV segment can grow, and maybe iPad even. But I just feel like I don't want to play games on my phone, and I don't know anyone that plays a ton of video games that also plays a ton of like big games on their phones.
No, that's got to be a weird thing to try to step into.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So, anyways, we'll see what they do there in the coming weeks. Electronic Arts had a Black Panther game in development, and a team called Cliffhanger Studios making it. They had signed like a deal with Marvel, I think, to make 3 games: Black Panther, Iron Man, and I think an unannounced one. But they are canceling Black Panther and shutting down the studio. Kind of a bummer. Wow. Black Panther is one of my favorite, like at least of the recent Marvel movies. I think
Agreed.
It was excellent. I think Black Panther, the character, is still going to be in the Marvel game that is Captain America focused that Amy Hennig's team is making that we talked about a few weeks ago. So all is not completely lost, but I don't know, a Black Panther game where he's the star sounds pretty fun. Kind of a bummer there.
This pushes us into rapid fire news.
Yeah. The Switch 2 is going to support USB mice.
Oh, kind of cool.
If you plug a USB cord into a mouse, like I think down its throat.
Down its throat?
Yeah, and
that's
then
crazy.
Into the Switch 2. No, but this will be nice. So I know some people, like it says here, were worried that the Joy-Con 2 wouldn't be very comfortable to use as a mouse for long periods of time. So
I can see that.
Yeah. Cool feature, but yeah, might not be super comfy. But we'll know in a couple weeks when Devin gets his.
Oh, yes, sir.
Cyberpunk 2 is officially in pre-production. Where, I don't know, let's just read what they say here. Can take multiple years and is the initial phase of development from concepting to content piping or pipeline planning, prototyping, etc. So they're like doing the initial work of scoping kind of before they decide what they're going to do. I know a lot of people loved that first game. I think it's just like that and Grand Theft Auto, like for me, it's just like trying to be a little too hardcore for me sometimes. But it looks very pretty and like the open worldness of it is like very impressive. So I hope that it is great. All right. A release date for Pokemon Legends. I don't know how to say this. Is it ZA or Z to A? Z-A?
No idea.
Yeah, it's coming out on October 16th.
Is this a brand new Pokemon game?
Yeah, they make a new one basically every year.
That will be physical and digital editions can be upgraded to the Switch 2 edition.
Yeah, so they'll have a Switch version and a Switch 2 version.
I'm always so curious about the spec differences between those. I'll have to find a place to give me that information later on.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see.
Awesome.
So, official release date, October 16th.
I've told some people I'm going to dive into a Pokemon game in the next year.
Cool.
Just to see what it's like. I don't know if they're turn-based. I don't know what.
I have one if you want to try one. I have one of the latest ones called Violet, I think, for the Switch. If you wanted to try one. I don't know if that's a good one.
I don't either.
Pokemon is having a presentation on July 22nd. My guess is they're going to talk a lot about that Pokemon game that we just mentioned. And maybe they'll announce something else for the Switch 2 or something. But anyways, that's that one. That one's uber rapid fire. Claire Obscura continues to sell really well, and in a strange occurrence that can only happen in our kind of strange, weird world. It has sold 3.3 million copies in its first 33 days, and the subtitle is Expedition 33. And in one like article I read, like the director of the game said, like, we could not make that number up if we tried. Like, kind of funny that it sold that number. Also, a lot of copies for them as a small team.
Yeah, well deserved. People have been hesitant to play that game.
Yeah,
it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm still probably only 10 hours in, but maybe 8 to 10 would be my guess. Time, just always gone. I think next up is also a sales thing. Yeah, CD Projekt Red announced that The Witcher 3 has now sold 60 million copies. I looked up a list on Wikipedia, and that makes it the 12th best-selling game of all time, which is kind of crazy. Some of the ones above it were Red Dead Redemption 2, which has sold 75 million. And then you've got things like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Minecraft, like, taking up the top couple spots. So I didn't realize that game was quite that big. I mean, I knew it sold a lot, but 60 million is kind of bonkers.
I didn't either. It's everything I've ever heard about that game is that it is so dang good. And I started and I was like, is this that good?
I started it too and thought it seemed cool, but the open world got so big and had so many quest markers on it so fast that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. And so maybe like it's a game you just like mainline and just like see the story stuff. I don't know. I feel like I've heard that the side story stuff in The Witcher 3 is also supposed to be excellent. So I don't know. I got overwhelmed. That's it for video game news. Moving over to board game news. Codenames, I think, is having its 10th anniversary soon. And it's getting like a rebrand of the 3 games: Codenames, Codenames Duet, and Codenames Pictures. I have base game and Pictures. It's basically just new artwork. It's supposed to be like a more what's that called? Green, I guess. Made of this the card stand is made of rewood. It's a material that's 80% shredded wood residue and 20% recycled binding materials.
Holy
cow. And then there's supposed to be some new cards in the game too. Roughly 35 new word cards.
Roughly 35?
Yeah, roughly, and then a very distinct number.
Roughly, and then a very small number.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like not like roughly 5,000. It's like roughly 35.
Yeah,
we couldn't count them.
Yeah, there were too many. So anyways, that was kind of cool. I didn't realize it'd almost been 10 years. But it makes sense. Next up, I don't remember if I talked about this game last week, but I don't think I did. I'm excited about this one. I have a game called Revive behind my head, and it's a really cool game. I've played it once with Devin. It's been quite a few months. I don't know if he'll remember it, but you have like 2 hands of cards, and you like play one from one hand, and then that hand will like become dormant, and you have to play one from another hand, and you're like building your little civilization is like coming up from the ground, trying to revive the world. And we actually filmed a video playing it on my kitchen table. One of the first videos we ever did. Same team is making a game called Recall instead of Revive. It's like number 2 on the hotness on Board Game Geek because people are very excited about it. And it sounds like it's going to use the system of play cards until you take a rest turn to like pick all your cards back up, which is a system I really like. It says, yeah, on your turn, you can either use a key card to activate an action box or recall to produce resources and regain your key cards. So I really like that game and that team of designers. So I hope that Recall is excellent, and it comes out late 2025, it says. All right. One other game I just wanted to highlight. Elizabeth Hargrave is a designer that got very famous because she designed Wingspan, the bird game, which has probably been the best-selling board game of the last 5 years, I would imagine. Uber big. She has a new game coming out called Sanibel, and it says players walk up and down the beaches of this Florida island city, collecting a wide variety of seashells and carefully adding them to their bags, with your bag being a personal player board. As you collect shells, you drop them down into the bag, letting them fall into the bottom Tetris style. Focus on the types of shells, where they land, since they score in a variety of ways. I like the aesthetic. It's like kind of subtle, but also has quite a bit of color in there. And I like seashells, so I hope it's good. But Sanibel looks pretty good, and then you do have some Pennywise in Betrayal. So I don't really love Betrayal, but that's why I didn't bring it up. But then I did bring it up.
Wow. I like Pennywise.
Yeah, we do like Pennywise. All right, that brings us to Crowdfunding Corner for the week of May 30th, 2025. We look at crowdfunding projects for board games that end in the next 2 weeks, generally, just so that you are aware of them before their projects end. I generally like Euro games, so there's not usually a lot of games with lots of miniatures and dungeon crawl type games, but occasionally. So anyways, there are a few projects today, so let's hop right in. This first one's called Meteor Shower. It's a 2-player game where each player has a rover, and they're using that rover to move around this map, and you can pick up meteor pieces, and then you are trying to deposit them in a line. And if you can create a line of your pieces from one side of the board to the other, then you win. Has two sides of the board, a 6x6 playing field and a 12x12 that play in either 10 minutes or about 30 minutes. So you can play a super short game or like a slightly longer version. I liked how the rovers looked, and it looked pretty simple, to be honest, and kind of unique. So that one is Meteor Shower on Kickstarter until June 2nd. Next up is a game that I don't know that I usually would care about, but I like Godzilla, so I was like, all right, we'll talk about it for a sec. It's called Battle Monsters Godzilla Cross Kong, and you will play as one of the titans of like this world. You got Godzilla. What's that guy's name with the dragon with the three heads? King Ghidorah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
My kids really love those movies, so I see them more than I probably would otherwise. Then you got Godzilla. Nope, I already said Godzilla. King Kong and Mecha Godzilla. I like Mecha Godzilla too. He's cool. You play as one of those, and then you also have like some troops on the ground and stuff. And you can move your Titans around. You might accidentally step on a tank and destroy it or squish stuff that way. But then you can play cards and stuff as well to kind of manipulate the troops on the ground. And you're just trying to defeat the other Titan before they defeat you, kind of. It's from Restoration Games, and they make good stuff. Even if this kind of, I don't know, head-to-head skirmish kind of game isn't normally my kind of thing. I like the idea of, hey, I've got my big dude, and he's what I need to like kind of keep safe. He'll be my brute force, but I've got some troops on the ground, and I could maybe like attack your troops or use one of my cannons to shoot up at your dragon or something. So, anyways, that is Battle Monsters Godzilla times Kong times Godzilla X Kong. And it's on Kickstarter until June 3rd.
With massive miniatures.
Yes. All right, next up, there's a few kind of new versions this week, so we'll go through some of them pretty quick. This one is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Trismegistus. This game came out quite a few years ago, I think almost like 10 maybe, from Danielle Tascini, a very famous designer. And they say in like their write-up here that because of some graphic design stuff and the artwork that they didn't love, and a couple design things they thought were like overly complex isn't the right word, but overly like obtuse, it didn't like perform as well as they thought it should. So they're releasing a new version that has new art, also like a smaller roll and write like supplement game, but new art, slightly cleaner rules on a few of the segments of the game, and yeah, just like new pieces and stuff. And I know that a few like board game channels that I really respect really like this game. It did just kind of look like ugly and kind of crazy. Like that was the original cover. Just what's he look like? Kind of looks like I don't know, Cat Gandalf. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna look into this one a little bit more. It's supposed to be a pretty heavy game where you're like converting different kinds of magic into other kinds of magic, I guess. But it has nice new double layered boards to keep everything organized and stuff. So if you like Danielle Tascini, and I do like a lot of his games, and Board and Dice does a lot of games in their T series, games that start with the letter T. I have Toletum, and other ones would be Zolkin and things like that. Then you might want to check that one out. It's on GameFound until June 5th. Next up is a unique one. It kind of reminds me of The Crew, which is a trick-taking game where you can't talk to your teammates and you're all trying to win these like 50 different missions. And since I can't talk, I can sometimes pass you little bits of information, and you're trying to like make sure like that you meet the condition of the scenario, like I need to win 2 tricks, you need to win 5, or don't win any tricks with odd numbers or something weird. This one has a similar idea on cooperative card play where you can't communicate with each other about what cards you're holding in your hands. But instead of it being like a trick taking game, this one is about poker. And so there's like a central hand, and you're trying to beat it together. So if we're trying to beat a full house, we need something better than that, 4 of a kind or whatever. But then there's also, like, if you do something special during the round, there's a joker card that you can earn that acts as a wild. And I don't know, it seemed pretty kind of sharp and fun. And I kind of like the rat artwork on it. It's quirky, but they're funny looking. So I liked it. River Rats. That's on Kickstarter for 7 more days until June 5th. And then, is this the last one?
2 more.
2 more. Okay, whoops. I closed the wrong link.
Oh, let's see.
The next one is called Conquest of... no, I can't remember.
Paradise.
Conquest of Paradise. This one's also a remake of a game that first came out in 2007. And I think it's a 4X game, which generally means you're like exploring, exterminating, expanding, whatever the other X's stand for. You're trying to like spread your influence, grow your infrastructure. You might sometimes need to fight and like take control from other players. But usually those games are kind of like sci-fi focused or whatever. This one is it says set in the sweeping blue of the Polynesian Triangle. So it's a lot more about like ships and islands and taking over control that way. But is also like a fairly like in-depth game, it seems. 60 to 90 minutes. And I like what it looks like. Like the kind of colorful aesthetic looks kind of fun. I have yet to I mean, I have a couple 4X games. The one I really love is Arcs, but it seems like less like a true 4X game and more like a card game with a little bit of 4X-ness in it. So I've yet to play like I don't want to say vanilla, but like a standard kind of 4X game that I've really loved. But I like the vibe. Little Maui in there. So that one is Conquest of Paradise, a remake of a game from 2007. In fact, I think this might be like a 3rd version. But it's Conquest of Paradise on GameFound until June 6th. And then this is the last one of the week. It's called Final Titan. And it looks kind of wacky, but it also kind of reminded me of a few other games like King of Tokyo and even like Dice Throne a little bit. How it works is you're going to have a few little champions. There are these cards that have like stats on them, and they're different kind of crazy heroes. One of them is Alice in Wonderland, and another one looks like a giant alligator dude. And then from those heroes, you're trying to like take out the other players before you lose. And you do that by playing cards, but also rolling dice that, like, depending on what you roll, will either do damage to them or things like that. I think the coolest parts of this game is the design team is Richard Garfield, who I think he's a very famous designer. I'm trying to remember exactly what he designed, but like I mentioned, he did co-design King of Tokyo, and before that I think he maybe did Magic the Gathering. Yeah, he created Magic the Gathering. And so any game that has his name on it is kind of like a big deal. Star Wars trading card game, Keyforge, Netrunner, Battletech. Anyways, so he's one of the designers of the game. And then the stack of hero cards has over 100 cards in it. And so every time you play, I think you play with 3, if I'm not mistaken. So your combination of those heroes will be pretty different from play to play. So because of that, and like kind of the graphic design and the letters and stuff, it looks like dice thrown a little bit on the front. Plays quite a bit differently. Where's the how to play section? Here we go. So you draw upgrade cards, you draft your champions. So you'll reveal 3 champion cards. First player picks one, and then the empty spot is refilled. Second player picks one. Then you go until everyone has a full team. And then you fight, prepare for battle, roll dice for victory, it says. So, I don't know. That's Final Titan. You can also try it on Tabletop Simulator. Has 1,600 backers right now on GameFound and is on there for 9 more days until June 7th. All right. That was a mouthful today, Devin, but that's going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner. So what is your pick of the week this week for May 30th?
It was going to be Trismegistus.
Okay.
It looks interesting.
It does. It's
like might be hard for me.
It does look it does look involved, but hey, you've played more complex games than that one.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like how it looks. I don't know too much about it, but I might have to just hop on the bandwagon with how much I love dice thrown and how this looks. And you sell me when you say you're only using 3 at a time and there's 140.
Yeah.
The amount of combinations for replayability is huge, and I like that weird little tiny my prancing pony mixed with Eevee thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
All of the characters look super unique in this, and I bet it's relatively easy to understand once you've played it once. Probably just kind of fun to see, can my 3 beat your 3?
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
I agree. I do think that.
I don't love choosing games that are 700% funded. I want to shout out games that are barely making it. Like the first one we talked about, Meteor Shower, which is not even 100 backers, only 150% funded, that type of thing. But
I do too, but I also just want it to be like the one I'm most pumped for the week. So sometimes it's going to be the one that's 70% funded, and sometimes it's going to be the one that's 7,000% funded. That's just kind of how it goes. But for me, I think mine is Trismegistus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really like this designer. I like heavy Euro games, kind of like Inferno that I have here on the table in front of us that we talked about on this episode of the podcast. So this is one I've wanted to try for a while. But I did think like the old art style was like a little like, I don't know if I could talk someone else into playing this with me. And if they cleaned up a few things to just make it slightly more usable and readable for new players, then I'm all for that. So that's probably my pick of the week this week. And that's going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner. Let me know if you've played any of these games, especially these ones that are kind of reprintings like Trismegistus and the Something of Paradise, Conquest of Paradise, and which of them that you are most excited about that we talked about too. And we'll see you next week for episode 62 of Crowdfunding Corner. All right, Devin. And with that kind of double recording of Crowdfunding Corner, at least just the first minute or two, that's going to end our episode. And I think, what was that? That was episode 61 of the Super Game Brothers podcast. Make sure to check out Devin on Twitch. He's Player 4 TikTok. He's Player 4 TV. I think he's also going to be streaming to our Super Game Brothers YouTube channel once that gets all connected to OBS. He's going to have the Switch 2 next week, trying it out, filming some unboxings and some settings videos probably about how that goes, and playing some Mario Kart, Donkey Kong next month. And it's going to be a good time. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for episode 62.